Hey guys, what's going on? James here. Firstly, I want to say thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. If you guys use the code MrBucsNation at checkout, you will get 20% off on your order. Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out more about Manscaped and their products. But now, let's go ahead and dive into this video where we are going to be taking a look at some of the players that we all should be keeping an eye on for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers preseason Week 3 matchup versus the Indianapolis Colts. It is the preseason finale for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is happening later today at 7:30 p.m. So we have a lot of content to cover here on the channel, but let's go ahead and dive right in. The first player, or I guess I should say group of players that we all should be keeping an eye on are the starters. Todd Bowles said after practice earlier in the week that Tom Brady and the starters would be playing in this upcoming game versus the Colts, whoever is healthy, essentially. And I think that that is some good news, but I've also seen some fear on, other people's thoughts and opinions on this. People are worried about injuries and things along those lines, which I totally understand those concerns. I imagine Tom Brady and the starters will be out there for a series or two and then probably get taken out of the game for the backups to come in, but there are still a lot of positives, I feel, for these game time reps for these starters. There's still a couple of battles that are going on for starting spots. I'll talk about that in a moment. Tom Brady still needs to develop some chemistry with his offensive line and some of these new guys who are going to have to be starters, guys like Robert Hainsey and whoever is going to be starting at the left guard position, as well as still developing chemistry with some of his receiving options, guys like Russell Gage, Julio Jones, Kyle Rudolph, Cam Brate, among others. So all in all, I do feel it is going to be a positive thing. There's also guys on the defensive side of the football who could use more reps, more chemistry building in terms of the starters. So I think that it is a positive thing, although I will say I do understand some people's worries about injuries and things along those lines. However, the next couple of players that I want to mention here to keep an eye on are going to be Luke Gedicki and Nick Leverett. These guys are still battling for a starting job at the left guard position. It is pretty neck and neck. I actually saw Greg Auman of The Athletic tweet out that essentially, he feels that Luke Gedicki is going to be the starting left guard for this team, and I think that that is kind of the vibe right now. Luke Gedicki has had some good moments. He did have a couple of holding calls. He did have a couple of misplays in the last preseason game, but I feel that right now he probably has the edge over a guy like Nick Leverett, who the Buccaneers like his versatility and probably want to keep him as a swing backup offensive lineman who can do a lot of good things for them, both at guard and at center. But it's still going to be worth paying attention to. You never know. I could be completely wrong. Luke Gedicki could end up being the backup. Nick Leverett could end up being the starter. That's why you got to pay attention to these two guys in this upcoming game. The next couple of people I want to pay attention to in this game are going to be the backup wide receivers. Folks, it has been a crazy battle throughout training camp, throughout the preseason for these backup wide receivers in terms of getting a roster spot, getting an opportunity with this team. You have Jalen Darden, Scotty Miller, Tyler Johnson, Brashad Perriman, Devin Tompkins, Kalen Geiger, Jarrett Stearns. These are the 6 to 7 guys who are still battling for one, maybe two roster spots right now. It has been a very crazy time. Cyril Grayson just got released recently. Vincent Smith just got released recently. There have been a lot of good wide receivers, a lot of tough decisions that have had to been made. This is going to be the last chance for these guys. Who is going to step up? I know I've been saying it every single week, but this has been one of the hotter training camp preseason battles worth paying attention to. This is the last chance for these guys. So who is going to step up? Let's pay attention to it in this game. Couple more guys that are battling for some roster spots are Nolan Turner and Olakunle Fatukasi. These guys have been doing some good things as well, not just on the defensive side of things, but also on special teams. In the safety room, will the Buccaneers keep 5 safeties? That is a big question. Will the Buccaneers keep 5 inside linebackers? That's another question. I would even go as far as to say that Grant Stewart, a guy who has been hurt throughout the training camp and the preseason, unfortunately, is his roster spot safe? I don't know. It is something worth paying attention to. I do know that the Buccaneers love Stewart's ability on special teams, so I feel pretty confident that he has a roster spot moving forward, But, will they keep 5 inside linebackers? We'll have to wait and see. Fatukasi has been one of the bigger bright spots on the defensive side of the football throughout these couple of preseason games. Has been all over the field, been making a lot of tackles. In the case of Nolan Turner, he's looked good on special teams. He's looked good in terms of tackling and coverage as well. These are two guys that are really, really giving it a go for the last couple of roster spots here on the Bucs 53-man roster initially. We'll see what happens after roster cuts are made around the league as well. But these two guys have shown up throughout the preseason. I think they're worth mentioning. If they don't make the roster, would be very strong candidates for the practice squad as well. So let's go ahead and see how these two finish off what has been admittedly a very strong preseason for both of them, that being Nolan Turner and Olakunle Fatukasi. Finally, folks, the last couple of players that I think are worth mentioning are Carl Nassib, Anthony Nelson, and Gennard Avery, who a lot of people have been very high on social media. I have seen a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers writers on Twitter. This was after Gennard Avery got released by the Steelers earlier in the week. He then signed with the Bucs, who are very surprised about Avery getting released from the Steelers. They thought he was having a good training camp, a good preseason, was showing some very good production. Now he's on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it seems like the overall vibe has been he's already got a roster spot on the 53-man roster. The Buccaneers are going to carry 5 outside linebackers. Whether or not that theory does stick, we'll have to wait and see, but Gennard Avery definitely has a lot of momentum for himself, not just from the Buccaneers side of media, but also the Pittsburgh Steelers side of media as well, who again were very surprised when Gennard Avery was released. I have all 3 of these guys on here on this list worth paying attention to because there is still a very big battle going on for third outside edge rushing linebacker snaps. You have Anthony Nelson, who has been here throughout all of training camp and all of preseason, but you have a guy like Carl Nassib, who was a team captain back in 2019, had 6 sacks in 2018, 6.5 sacks in 2019. He has showed good production, as has Anthony Nelson, and I'm rooting for all 3 of these guys. I think all 3 are very, very solid depth pieces, and then you just have the addition of Gennard Avery as well, who's also got a lot of good momentum behind him, and all 3 of these guys have also got some experience on special teams as well. So yeah, the Buccaneers seem like they're in a pretty good spot with their edge rushing linebacker depth. We'll see how healthy of a rotation they want to have moving forward with potentially all 5 of these guys, now with Gennard Avery in that mix as well. I'm pumped up for this position group, man. All of these guys are pretty young. Nassib, I believe, is 29. Anthony Nelson's like 24, 25, something along those lines. Gennard Avery's 27. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka's like 23, 24, something along those lines. I'm pretty pumped up with the overall depth and unit of the Buccaneers outside edge rushing linebackers. I think they've got a lot of good juice and potential to that unit and could be one of the bigger bright spots for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in not just this preseason game, but also throughout the entirety of the regular season as well. But let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comments section below. What are some other players that you guys are going to be keeping an eye on? Let me know. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about Manscaped and their products here in just a minute. But as always, guys, goodbye for now. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs. Hey guys, James here, and as I said at the top of this video, this was sponsored by Manscaped. If you use the code MrBucsNation at checkout, you will get 20% off on your order. You can get anything on the website, folks. You're not tied down to one item or another. Again, you can get anything on the website, whatever you're interested in. If you use the code MrBucsNation at checkout, you will get 20% off on your order. And, you know, if we get just a handful of people to use the code, folks, it will go a really long way in terms of supporting the channel and helping make sure I can do this more in a full-time capacity, something that is a goal of mine. And Manscaped has actually sent me some of their more popular and recent products to talk about and review for you guys today. First thing I want to make a note of here is the mat that they sent. It is a newspaper that Manscaped has created. It is a good product to help ensure you're not making a mess when you are grooming. You also have the Crop Reviver and the Crop Preserver as well, just to make sure everything is going good down there in terms of anti-chafing as well as toner as well for those products in regards to your grooming. You have the Lawnmower 4.0, Manscaped's most recent razor that they have. It's got a safety light on there, a lot of safety features in there as well, so you're not hurting yourself whenever you are grooming yourself, because that wouldn't be a good thing under any circumstances. So the Lawnmower 4.0 is their most recent razor that they have out now. But some of the more favorable products that I have, or at least some of the more products that I enjoy. Firstly, here we have the t-shirt. This is the second t-shirt that Manscaped has sent me. I love these shirts, man, not just because of the tagline, you know, Manscaped. You can read the rest of the tagline there, but it's not just for the tagline, folks. These are genuinely comfortable shirts that are very, very wearable, in my opinion. I like these shirts. I think that these are very solid, capable shirts that get the job done. I wear these shirts a lot, so again, I think that these are quality shirts, not just for the tagline, but also very wearable as well. Speaking of things that are wearable, folks, Manscaped has boxer briefs, and I will say this, I will die on this hill. Manscaped has some of the best underwear out there today, folks. These are really, really comfy underwear, folks. I'm very happy to have these products. In fact, I would say that this is the most recommended product, in my opinion, that you get on Manscaped. Again, you can get 20% off on that if you use the code MrBucsNation at checkout. They've got really good underwear over there at Manscaped, so I would highly recommend that, probably the most. You've also got here the Weed Whacker, which is the nose and ear hair trimmer. This is actually something I've wanted in my own personal grooming kit for a while now, and I finally have one here thanks to Manscaped. This is a very solid, very interesting product that I'm excited to use. I think it is a very solid addition to any men's grooming kit that is out there. Manscaped has got you covered for that as well. And then finally, you have the kit bag here. This is a very solid, very nice bag that you can keep all of your Manscaped products in, or really any men's grooming products that you want to use. You know, nail clippers, you know, files, anything along those lines, you can keep in that bag there. And it is a very solid, very durable, very, very nice bag to have. But folks, again, thank you so much for Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Use the code MrBucsNation at checkout to get 20% off on your order. It will really, again, go a long way in terms of helping support the channel and helping me do this more in a full-time capacity. So thank you guys so much. Go check it out at manscaped.com. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.